Alright, welcome back everyone. I'm teacher Nathan from Writers at Work. And this afternoon, we'll be looking at St. Nicholas Girls' School Weighted Assessment 2 from 2023. Let's start off with grammar first. Question 1. The twins only had Dash to blame for the broken window. So over here, we are interested in pronouns. The first thing that we observe is the word over here, twins. So we are looking at this plural subject, and therefore, when we want to replace this with a pronoun, it would be themselves, number 4. Alright, so for everyone's learning, when we have those with the self, these two are known as intensive pronouns. And they are usually used to stress on the noun or pronoun it replaces. Okay? Now, moving on to question 2. Dash Rachel recovers in time, she will have to withdraw from the dance competition. So over here, we are interested in conjunctions. Now, looking at some of the keywords, recover in time, withdraw from competition. So you can see that this is a criteria. So Rachel has to fulfill this, or else there is an outcome to bear. So in this case here, it would be unless, because this is the only conjunction that shows criteria. Looking at the other options, if here shows a hypothetical event. That means something that hasn't occurred. For example, if I had $1 million, I would do blah, blah, blah. So it hasn't occurred, but I'm referring to a situation. Since here is used to show a particular time period in the past. Till the present. And although is used to show contrast. Alright? So as we have talked about it earlier, we are looking at a criteria here. So we'll use number 3, unless. Alright, let's move on. Question 3. She'll be ready for her piano examination. Dash, mother asked encouragingly. Over here, we're interested in question tag question. And the keyword is she'll. So this is a short form for the word she will. And this is a positive connotation. As such, we will have the negative connotation at the back here. And it would be won't she. Okay, so you can see that there is a would. We will only use option 3 and 4 if there is this contraction. Okay, so the contraction is your short form for the two words she would. Okay, moving on, let's take a look at question 4. Wen Jun felt a great sense of joy dash her heart after she helped the blind man cross the road. Over here, we're interested in tenses. The keyword is felt. So there is this action of having certain emotions. Okay, so this is your verb 1. And our second blank here is the second verb. As such, we'll need to apply the verbs of perception rule. This means that when I have two verbs, the second verb needs to be in the base form. So this means that I need to be looking at the present tense and plural form. As such, the answer would be very straightforward. Number 1. Now, to aid us in our learning, let's take a look at the other options too. Feels here is present tense and singular. Filled, this is past tense. And was feeling here, this is in the past continuous, which shows that the action was continuing sometime in the past. Alright, so pretty straightforward question here. Now let's take a look at question 5. Mother brought my brother and Dash to the park for a stroll. So we're interested in what we call personal pronouns here. And the first thing we observe is the word brought, because this is a verb. This is your action. And we need to identify who is engaging in this action. So in this case, it will be mother. So mother is the subject of the sentence. And who are the recipients of a mother bringing you or bringing someone? Brother and Dash. So these two are the object of the sentence. So when we are interested, when we have a pronoun here, this pronoun will replace these two nouns, okay, the brother and the author. And therefore, we need to ensure the personal pronoun is in the object form. Right? So looking at our options, first one is I. I here is in the subject form, while me is in the object form. Mine is in the possessive form, while myself is in the intensive form. Okay, so in this case here, we are only interested in me, because it is in the correct form that we are looking at. If you want to use the subject form, I needs to this person needs to be engaging in some action. I went to the library today. Then can. Mine is used to show possession or ownership. The dog is mine. So you can see that the ownership of the dog belongs to the author. Myself, as I've talked about earlier in question 1, we are trying to emphasize the fact that the noun is the main subject. I went home all by myself. So we're trying to highlight the fact that the author was alone when something else occurred. All right? I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information here from this first page before I move on to our next section. Alright, if there are no further questions, let's move on to our next 5 questions. Question 6 now. Tracy and Ali dash for the concert since 10 o'clock this morning. They hope to enter the venue soon. So first thing, we observe there are 2 people, so it's a plural subject. Next, we observe that the action has been occurring since 10 o'clock. That means they are still doing now, and this action started in the past. So looking at our options, the first one is queued. This is in the past tense. Had queued, this is past perfect. Past perfect means that one action occurred before my second action took place. Next, has and have been queuing. These 2 are in the present perfect continuous. Which means that my action began in the past. And it's still continuing now. So as you can see from this question here, since 10 o'clock already tells me that the action is not done yet. So option 1 and 2 are out. And you can see that differentiating option 3 and 4 is the first word. Have is for plural, which is what we are looking at in the question. As such, the answer here would be number 4. Alright. Okay, let's move on to question 7. The pupil expressed her gratitude dash her teacher for teaching her well. So over here, we are interested in a preposition. Prepositions are words that show us position, source, and directions of different things. Okay? So in this case, we are trying to show her thankfulness, and it goes on further to elaborate on the direction or who she is thankful for. Okay, so this is like your gratitude is from the giver and your receiver is here. Okay, and this is like your destination. Okay, as such, for the question 7 here, we will use the word to. Why? Because we are trying to show the direction of thanks from one person to another. All right. Now, looking at the other options, the first one is at. At shows a particular location. I am at the coffee shop, which tells me where I am now, the place that I'm in. For shows in a favor or support of something. Mother is bringing some chicken rice for brother who is at the stadium training. So you're trying to say that mother is doing something and this act is helping somebody else. With is to show complementary subjects. I am going to the stadium with sister, which means the 2 of us are engaging in the same thing. All right. Now, let's take a look at question 8. Lisa, together with her siblings, dash to surprise her parents for their upcoming anniversary. So the first thing is Lisa, which is a singular subject. Next, we observe of their upcoming anniversary, which tells me that the event is only occurring in the future. Therefore, we will use present tense. Now, looking at our options, the first two, is and are planning. They are in the present continuous tense, which tells me that the action is ongoing as I speak. Next, had been planning. This is in the past perfect continuous tense. Which shows that the action was ongoing in the past when a second action took place. Lastly, we have been planning. This is in the present perfect continuous tense. Which tells me that the action happened. The action is started in the past. And it's still continuing now. Okay. So in this case, this plan to surprise someone, there is no contextual clue to tell us that the planning has already begun. But what we are certain about is that as this sentence is being read out, Lisa is engaging in some plans. So it means that my action will be ongoing as I speak. And not forgetting, we are interested in Lisa, just one girl alone. So we'll be looking at number one, is planning. As I've mentioned before, when we have a comma between together with her siblings, this means that it is extra info that we will not consider for this question. All right? Okay, moving on. Let's take a look at question 9. Mrs. Lim was concerned when she found out that her children had dash awareness about the harmful effects of consuming too much sugar. For this question here, we are interested in determiners. These are basically words that show you the quantity of something. And you can see Mrs. Lim was concerned, which means that she was worried, she was scared. And it goes on further to say that the children have, it shows that the awareness is very low about the effects of too much sugar, right? Now, we need to take into consideration awareness here is uncountable. So, when it's a low quantity and uncountable, we'll use they had a little awareness, number 2. All right. Now, looking at the other options, few here is used for countable. I have a few toy cars in my drawer. Countable. Little is uncountable. Some here can be countable or uncountable. Take out some rice for dinner. So you see, that's countable. On the other hand, if I say there are some boys in the class who did not finish their homework, that is countable. Okay? Some rice is uncountable. Much here is uncountable. He put in much effort in his homework. All right? Now, let's take a look at question 10. Okay, so you see the question here asks the binoculars on the table belong to you. Sam asks Rudy. The first thing we observe is binoculars, right? So this thing here is plural. As such, for all these options here, which are known as your modal auxiliary verbs, all right, when we take a look at all these options here, we will only choose number 1. Do the binoculars belong to you? Why is that so? Because will here is used to show a future action, while would is used to offer advice. I would tell the teacher if I'm being bullied. Advice. Will it rain later? We're looking at a future action that is of uncertainty. Do and does here are used for questions. Just that, because it is plural, we will not use does. This is for singular subject and for questions. Asking questions. Alright? So in this case here, we will look at do. Now, if I say a pair of binoculars, then this would be singular subject. Because we are looking at pairs, the two eye holes of the binoculars, right? But if we just general term binoculars with the S, it will be considered a plural subject. Okay, this is not really made known to everyone, so I hope everyone can be careful about it. All right. All right, we have come to the end of this part. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information before we move on. All right. All right. If there are no further questions, let's move on. Now we're in the vocabulary section. Question 11. We missed the train, but dash made it to school on time. So you can see that they missed the train. So it's very expected that the students here would be late, but they were still punctual. So there's that kind of contrast being shown here, right, between the back and the front part. So looking at our options, the first one is unusually, unusual, right? Correct. This means that something is not common. Surprisingly means something is unexpected. in a way that surprises. Immediately means instantly or at once. Well, coincidentally, over here means that occasion, when two or more things, okay, occur together. So we are looking at how there's that kind of contrast. So we will use number 2, surprisingly, because there's that idea that your expectation and reality don't match. All right, let's move on to question 12. Due to pollution, the air quality is rapidly dashed in our country. So we are looking at how the pollution causes the air quality to decrease. And we are trying to say that the quality of air is worse. So looking at some of the options given to us, the first one is failing. Failing here means that there is a fault or there is a weakness. Receding here means that you move back further away from your previous position. Okay. Weakening means something becomes less powerful. Deteriorating means something becomes progressively worse. That means as time passes, the something goes from bad to worse and even worse. Alright, so for this case here, we are interested in the air quality being worse and worse over time. So the clear-cut answer would be number 4. The air quality is deteriorating. Alright. Alright, let's go on to question 13. Unable to contain her assignment, she dashed her favorite song spontaneously. So we are looking at how the girl was able to sing her favorite tune. Spontaneous means no one like planned. Then she just suddenly had this idea and she executed the idea. The first one is made up. Made up here means that you invent something to deceive. That means you're trying to lie to someone, you create some story. Hold back or held back means you choose not to do something to prevent worsening the situation. Broke into means that you suddenly begin to do something. Okay, and lastly, came across means you find something by chance. So you can see the word spontaneously here already gives you some kind of idea that we're looking at the girl did not plan to sing, but she just sang because of her assignment. Not forgetting, we're looking at a song. So probably she became like singing without any accompaniment, a cappella tune, right? As such, our answer here would be she broke into the song because she did something, which is singing, and suddenly has a link to without planning. Okay, now moving on we have question 14 here. Peter recognized the robber immediately as he had a dash scar on his left arm. So we are looking at the scar and how the scar probably is something that differentiates the robber from other people. So looking at our options, the first one is typical, which means something you expect from a particular group. So that means if we talk about, for example, people who are in the army, then you'll think of people with very short hair, things like that. Distinctive, it means some one element that distinguishes one from others. So we are looking at something that is very, very unique, something that most people don't have, but this group, this person or this animal has, and we are able to say, okay, this is the person. Next, significant. Significant here means something is worthy of attention, something that we should focus on. All right. Lastly, remarkable means something that is very striking or very attractive. It could be a quality, it could be some value that someone has. All right. So in this case here, we are looking at how the scar is able to differentiate the robber from other people. So we are looking at number 2, okay, because of the word distinguishes. Okay, when we talk about attractive or worthy of attention, we are not talking about the person's behavior usually, but we are looking at a certain trait, something the person did that would make you very surprised and draw your attention to him or her. Okay, let's go on. Determined to make the event a success, he dashed all his energy and time on it the past month. So we are looking at how the boy gave all his energy and time. That means he spent it all on this project, on the event, planning the event. Right? So looking at the options, the first one is expelled. Expelled means that you force somebody to leave an organization. So for example, the naughty boy was expelled from the school. So the school forced him to leave, don't want him to be a student anymore. Next, extended. Extended means something is longer than usual. Usually we talk about something is extended in time. Expanded means you use up all resources. So over here we are looking at expanding energy or your resources on certain projects. All right, and extinguish means fire stop burning. All right. So in this case here, this question, the answer is very straightforward. It is you expand the energy because the resources here refer to your energy as well as your time. All right. Now we have come to the end of this part here. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information before we move on to our next question. All right. All right. All right, if there are no further questions, let's take a look at our vocabulary close now. So what will happen will be as follows. I'll read through the text with you, and we would understand the meanings of the words that are underlined. Once done, we'll delve into the options and choose the correct answer. All right. Somewhere in the cave, the jingle came again. Gemma turned to see an animal approaching. Its steps were slow and deliberate. Each planned step was made more prominent by the hair-raising ringing of a bell dangling from his neck. First word here is deliberate. So it means that something is being done consciously and intentionally. Okay, so you plan to do something and you do it. Each step was made more prominent. Prominent here means something is easily seen or noticed. All right. Okay, as the mysterious creature emerged from the shadows, Gemma let out a gasp. It was a jaguar. Not wanting to provoke it, Gemma backed away cautiously, inching her way out of the cave. Backed away here means that you move backwards from something. As you are frightened. Okay? Suddenly, the jaguar paused to rest on its back legs. Its slim eyes narrowed menacingly. Its powerful gaze bored into Gemma's soul. Exhaling apprehensively, she let out a growing anxiety within her. So apprehensively here means that you are feeling worried about something. About something that is going to happen. All right. She let out the growing anxiety at the moment it attacked. As it sprang towards her, it let out a growl, more spine-shaking than Gemma had ever heard. Growl here, you are looking at that low grotto sound of the throat. Grotto. So we are looking at like kind of raw, you know, like those, when the dog is angry, that kind of sound. All right. Okay, let's delve straight into the text. So the first thing we observe is slow and deliberate. Okay, the first word here. Now looking at our options. The first one is heavy. Heavy means something is of great weight. It is difficult to move. Steady means something is very gradual, very regular, in a very regular way. Next, constant. That means something occur continuously over time. While purposeful means that you are determined in something. Okay? So if we look back at our question, the question is the word deliberate. That means you do something with a certain intention, with a certain intent in mind. You are thinking while you are doing. So as such, the idea would be number 4, purposeful, because you are determined. That means you have certain goal. You have a certain goal in mind, and this goal is already pre-planned. Okay. Now, looking at question 17, it tests you on the word made more prominent. Okay, this is the main thing. So looking at our options, the first one is coupled, which means something is connected in pairs. Next, when you promote something, that means you support or you actively encourage something. Next, when we talk about supported or support, you are trying to give assistance. And this is especially in terms of the financial aspect. That means you give money, you support the charity, for example. All right. Lastly is emphasize, which means that you make something more obvious. Okay, so in this case here, right, when you're looking at how the tiger was more prominent, that means can be seen clearer, things like that, we will use the term emphasize because of the word obvious. That means something is can be seen more easily and in greater detail. All right. All right. Let's move on to question 18. Now we are looking at how Gemma backed away. That means you move in your opposite direction out of fear. So looking at our options, the first one is darted, which means that you are running somewhere suddenly and rapidly. Next, when you recoil, it means that you rebound or you spring back. So this direction here is forward. Darted also is forward. You are running towards a certain destination. Okay. Next, retreated. This means that you are moving backwards. Okay, so you can see this is already backward. It's a opposite direction. Disappeared here is it means that suddenly something ceased to be visible. That means you cannot see the thing. So there's no direction here, so we will not even consider this. Now, if we go back to our question, we are looking at how the girl backed away, which means she moved backwards in fear. Okay? So in that sense, the idea should be number 3, when you retreat. Okay, so you need to be very aware of the direction that we are talking about. All right? Alright, let's take a look at question 19. Well, you are apprehensive. That means you're worried about something that is going to happen. So looking at our options. Give me a moment. Why is it so dark now? Let me switch on the settings. There we go. Okay. Question 19 is testing on the word apprehensive. That means you are very worried that something is going to happen. Okay, over here. So looking at our options, the first one is uneasily. Uneasy means that you are anxious or discomfort, or there is some kind of discomfort. Doubtful or doubtfully means that you are unsure how good or true something is. Desperately here means that you are ready to change a situation. So in the sense that you will do anything it takes to get yourself out of a situation. And uncontrollably, this means that in a way that cannot be restrained. So probably when someone has a lot of emotions in them, then such a thing will happen. All right. So in this case here, we are looking back at the word apprehensive. That means you're worried something will happen. So you're worried. The closest option that we have is anxious. Okay, and therefore our answer will be number 1. Now, when you are ready to change, there's no the aspect of worry, and when you cannot be restrained, the emotion is not worried, but rather it can be very excited, it can be very sad. It's not specific. All right. Okay, last but not least, we have question 20. So let's take a look. They test you on the word growl, which is like a low grotto sound of the throat. All right. Okay, give me a moment, everyone. I'm not really sure what happened to the tablet. All right, it seems like the tablet has died. Okay, thank you. Okay, please give me a moment, everyone. There's some technical difficulties that we are facing right now, but we'll be back very, very short. we are back on live now. Okay. Earlier the sound before the tablet could not work. We were at question 19. Right. So earlier we were looking at the word apprehensively, right? And we all agreed that apprehensively means that you are worried about what is going to happen. Let me just write it down first. Alright, so that's the word apprehensively. And we are looking at a particular word here that has that similar meaning. So the first one is uneasy, which means that you are very awkward or you are anxious, there's anxiety. Doubtfully means that you don't know how true something is, right? Desperately means that you are ready to change a situation. And uncontrollably means that in a way that cannot be controlled. And we are looking at how the answer is number 1, because there's this element of fear that the other 3 options do not have. Hello, Onion 3208 and Felicia 3446. Now, let's go on to question 20. When there's the growl, is that snarl? Okay, yes, very good. So over here, we are looking at that low grotto sound. Grotto sound. All right, that's what Janelle 3781 has talked about. Yes, okay, for this question here, the answer would be number 3. Okay, so very good. And the reason is because the snarl here refers to that rough making noise. Give me a moment, Orion. Making noise by dogs. We are looking at how somebody is the dog or the animal is aggressive or it wants to put out a fight. That's why that's the answer. All right. So some people will be asking, how about wail? Wail here is high pitch cry. Okay, so in a sense, we are looking at 2 different intensity or pitch. High pitch here cannot be used to replace growl or snarl, which has a low pitch, a very low voice. All right. Now, yep here means a short and sudden high pitch noise. All right, and usually we use yap here for animals in pain, while whimper also is used to convey pain. However, whimper is a low feeble sound, and you can see both option 3 and 4 are low pitch sounds, but the use is different. Okay, and because of that, we'll only be considering snarl for question 20. Now, moving on, let's take a look at some grammar close questions. Okay, so now we are looking at the awake brain surgery. Is where doctor operates on the brain while the patient is awake and alert. It is done on patients that have brain tumors or seizures near part of the brain that control vision, movement, or speech. So you can see we are looking at patients, and these patients suffer from all these conditions. So we are replacing patients with a pronoun. And if you look at all the options, there's only one, which is who. Okay, and this surgery allows the doctor to monitor the vision, motor skills, or speech that's not affected by the operation. So first thing is allows. This is in present tense. Next thing, all these are different skills, so plural. So we'll say they are not affected. Okay. Dash the surgery. The patient will be given medication to make him relax. So you can see that the surgery at the start, in the middle, and at the end. So it's the whole duration. Right? The patient would have the medication. So we will say it is throughout the surgery. So we are looking at this conjunction here, right, to convey the certain time period. Since the brain does not have dash pain sensors, so we are looking at how it has 0, and you are trying to emphasize the fact that it doesn't have pain sensors at all. So we'll say it does not have any pain sensors. Okay, and now you can see that will make him relax. All these are in present tense. And now he's a singular subject again, so we'll say even though he is awake. Dash 2017, doctors at the local hospital discovered a man had a brain tumor. So we are looking at this particular time period, and we are looking at during the year. So it's not only on the particular year, but during the 365 days, one of the days in this year. That's why for this question is slightly special. We will use the preposition in. Okay. So within a week, they decided to go ahead, dash and awake brain surgery to remove it. So you can see they go ahead. That means they are planning, and what are they planning concurrently with this aim? This aim to remove the tumor. So you could see that these two are going hand in hand. As such, the preposition that we use to show complementary subjects is with. All right. After the surgery, the man had to go for radiotherapy and chemotherapy. So these two are similar ideas. They are just looking at different types of treatment for his cancer. So we will say and, okay? A. The success rate dash and awake brain surgery is dependent on the type of tumor and the age of the patient. So you can see success rate, and what are we elaborating on? We're looking at that kind of relationship to the awake brain surgery. So we'll say the success rate of the awake brain surgery is dependent on so on and so forth. Dash many have benefited from this surgery. So we are looking at how regardless of the tumor and the age. So these two are not considered now. When we talk about how there are a lot of people who have longer lives, better quality of lives, right? So in that case, we'll use the term K, regardless. So that means the age and tumor type is not important anymore. All right. Okay, if there are no further questions, let's move on to editing. Tom lived in a small village. He was known for his adventurous spirit. So adventurous is spelled wrongly. This is how you spell it. Adventurous. Okay. So one day he decided to explore the forest and chance dash a secret garden. So we're looking at how he chanced, and it's not in, but like as he walked, he found it. So it will be called you chance upon. So we are looking at how this is coincidental. The flowers were lovely, and Tom could not resist the temptation to pick a few flowers. This is how you spell the word temptation. As she was picking them, Tom heard a voice. He turned around and saw an old woman. "What are you doing?" she asked. So you can see this action was ongoing when the voice was heard. So it will be as he was picking them, he heard the voice. Turned around, saw the old woman, and the old woman is asking him about his actions. So when you ask about an action, it must be, what are you doing? Okay. So Tom explained that he's going to bring back to the villagers. Then the old lady said, "Leave them alone, they belong to the forest." And Tom apologized. So how do we spell apologize? This is how you spell it. Then the old woman handed him a seed. "Plant this in your village," she said. With that, she disappeared. Now this is a spelling error again. Alright. Tom was puzzled, and Dash did as he was told. So you can see, when someone is confused, we will not expect the person to do what was being asked, but he did as he was told. So these two are really contrasting sentences, and we'll use the term "but" to show this contrast. And to his surprise, the seed grew into a tree with golden leaves. And a few months later, the group of bandits came, dashed to steal from the villagers. So you can see the bandits had this ongoing intention. Right? So we will use a continuous tense here, which will be came looking to steal from the villagers. Mesmerized by the dash of the golden tree. So you can see beautiful here is an adjective. But we're not looking at describing the tree, we're looking at the appearance of the tree and how it affected the bandits. So we are looking at a noun, which would be the beauty of the golden tree. Right, they decided to take it for themselves. However, when they touched the tree, they turned to stone immediately. So immediately is spelled this way. Alright. From then on, the tree became a symbol of respect and warning not to take what is not theirs. Symbol is also spelled wrongly, so this will be as such. Okay. Okay, let's move on further with our comprehension close. Horseshoe crabs are sea creatures which live on sandy seabeds. These creatures play an dash role in medical research. Now, first thing we observe is N, which means that this must be a vowel. And you can see that the role they play must be very, very crucial. So we'll use the term important. Horseshoe crabs are like to dash invertebrates. They are immobile and decaying organic matter. So over here, we are looking at how, you can see the next sentence, they grind up before eating. So therefore here must be they like to eat the invertebrates. The ability to do so allows dash to eat most things that they can find. So you can see we are looking at the horseshoe crabs here. So in order to replace the horseshoe crab, we're looking at a pronoun. So it allows them to eat most things that they can find. The horseshoe crab is covered with a hard shell that protects it from dash. So when we talk about protection, it's from their enemies. So usually the enemies of an animal we are looking at is the predator, because these are the animals that will eat up the horseshoe crab. Right? So after they shed, the new shell is dashed and takes hours to harden. So you can see the word harden here means that something must be soft initially. That's why it can be solidified over time. That means over here, this must be the opposite of hard. So we'll say the new shell is soft. Alright. Now moving on. Horseshoe crabs lay their eggs on beaches. No sooner do the females deposit their eggs in burrows, dash the males fertilize them. So you can see when we have the word no sooner, it needs to be paired up with then. These two words come together and they show sequential events. That means one event occurred first, which is the deposit of eggs. Then the male come to fertilize them, one after the other. After 20 days, the eggs dash and the young horseshoe crabs float out to sea. So we are looking at how the eggs become horseshoe crabs. So they need to hatch. That means they break open, the babies come out. The dash unique feature is that its blood is not iron based. So you can see the here means you are looking at superlative, and you are looking at how their features are unique and how this special feature is the number one differentiating factor. So you will say the most unique feature. All right. So you can see it's not iron based. The blood is not iron based, and they go on further to talk about how it is full copper. Right. So over here, we are looking at a different point. All right. So we will say instead it is whatever. Right. Full copper, and giving it a blue color. Scientists use its blood to check dash there are any harmful bacteria in vaccine. So we are looking at this possibility. So it will be if there are any harmful bacteria in the vaccines. And scientists also use it to help them understand how our bodies defends against infections. Dash to many users in medical research, thousands of horseshoe crabs are dashed alive. So you can see this is the reason and my result is here. Okay, so when we have a tool, we want to show cause effect, it will be due to. It has to have come together. Okay, dash alive. Once their dash is extracted, they are returned to sea. Now you can see the horseshoe crabs are being captured alive because they want the blood here. All right. And we can talk about this answer here will always be blood because we're looking at how they use the blood for certain reasons. Okay, so now we need to be very clear from the two different pages what are the clues that are useful. This practice puts its population dash risk because of the injury and death during blood collection. So we always say put it at risk. Okay, as horseshoe crabs play a critical role in medical research, the decline of their population could dash disastrous consequences for human health. So we are looking at how this is a possibility. All right, so we'll say it could risk the disastrous consequence. All right. Now let's go on to synthesis and transformation. Oh, that's okay. That's we don't have a synthesis and transformation here. All right, so with that, we have come to the end of this Writers at Work TikTok session. I'll just leave this here for a bit. So if you have any questions, do feel free to ask me. If not, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon on our Writers at Work TikTok session. I'm teacher Nathan, and if you would like to join me to learn more English, do catch me at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow morning for our primary 5 and 6 lessons again. Okay, bye bye.